You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Wait, that's me. Hey, folks, Chris Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com, thechrisvossshow.com. Welcome to the big show, my family and friends. Moving slow with the audience here. I can put them all to kick into gear, too, as well. Thank you. So everyone have a seat already. Anyway, guys, we have another amazing author on the show, and I'm not going to tell you who she is yet because, I already gave away half of it, really. It's either he or she, right? So she's going to be on the show in a second, but until then, you've got to put up with me. And I got to tell you, what a great show we have. I'm guilting people this week. It's the latest thing, guilting and shaming at the beginning of the show, or what some people in commercial and TV call the plugs. But, there's 1,400 episodes of the Chris Voss Show. Did you know that? In August, we turned 14 years old.
Wow.
I'm feeling ancient. Do you know how many podcasts are 14 years old? Most podcasts are maybe 14 months old. No, they don't even make it that far, actually, if you know the stats. But 14 years old. We're putting out, Simon Schuster's auto-booking this bloody show. Penguin Random House threatens to do it, but they haven't done it yet. And I'm not sure we want them to have to do it. They send us great authors. But, we're doing 2 to 3 shows a day now, people. Okay, 2 to 3 shows a day. This is the love, the burden, the bloodletting that I give unto you, my audience, because we love you so much. And I know that you guys write me these reviews and you guys write me these comments and you go, hey, Chris, we learned so much. There's so much of a spectrum of knowledge that you shovel upon us every day. And our brains are just so smart. We go forth in the world and we can achieve almost anything. Lawyer said I said that. I had to say I'm almost. And we can achieve almost anything. And we have this glowing embodiment that comes off us, this aura, if you will, of glowiness. And that's going to be the new byline of the Chris Voss Show. The Chris Voss Show, more glowiness. You know what that means. We make this stuff up every time, and you can tell because half the time it's funny and half the time it's not. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it, though? The improv of the ramble. Anyway, guys, we love you as an audience, and we love the fact that you guys recognize that it makes you smarter and all that good stuff. So keep referring the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and we're trying to be cool on TikTok. It won't work. But we're going to try anyway, and we're putting up cuts of all the different great authors and brilliant minds we have on the show. Today, our amazing guest on the show, an amazing author. She writes children's books because those are the best kind, because we need to plow and harvest and seed the beautiful young minds of the youth, because if you've seen the youth of Gen Z, on TikTok. Anyway, I'm just kidding. We love Gen Z. But we need to harvest those new minds. I don't even know what that new generation is going to be called. They're going to have to go back around to maybe Gen A, because they've already used Gen Z. Like, what's after that? I don't know. I flunked kindergarten, so I don't know what comes in that after the alphabet. She is the author of the amazing new book, I Love Mom, a beautiful gift for mothers to treasure. Rochelle Tarfman Perez is on the show with us today. She has written this new book, came out April 18th, 2023, and she's also authored quite a few other books we'll get into here in the fun, called Food is Fun. Clearly, that was one of my favorite books growing up, and fast food. But she probably has better, healthier food in the book. We'll find out. It's part of the Gia Toddler preschool series. So if you have kids, she has 4. So she's going to share with you her amazing insight in keeping kids entertained, and of course what she put into that in her book writing. You can order up her fine books wherever fine books are sold. Stay out of these alleyway bookstores. She is someone who enjoys psychology and has been a passion, and she holds a license as a marriage and family therapist. Maybe she can tell me about why my psychiatrist keeps advising frontal lobotomy. This has been provided. This has given her the opportunity to use her professional experience working with families to create stories and characters for their young children. When she was growing up, she enjoyed all kinds of activities, but she especially loved to read, which is probably why she's so smart, because reading makes her smarter. That's why you folks listen to the show, right? So you can see books you want to read. She's got 4 children. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sure she does daily just to make sure they're still there. The types of books she's enjoyed over the years have varied from teen thrillers to romance, Star Wars to Harry Potter. Is that legal to go from Star Wars to Harry Potter? As well as the board and picture books that she reads to her little ones. Welcome to the show, Rochelle. How are you?
I'm great, Chris. How are you?
There you go.
To be here.
There you go. Welcome to the show. Now, is it legal to read Star Wars and Harry Potter, or is it? I think it's against the law to be a Star Wars and Star Trek fan. Is that how it works?
I was never a Star Trek fan, but I don't read the Harry Potter and Star Wars together.
Okay, yeah.
They have to be separated.
You ever seen that stand-up bit where the guy compares how maybe the gal who wrote Harry Potter ripped off Star Wars and the characters in them?
No, I didn't.
I'll have to send
Is that
it
really
to
a thing?
I'll have to send it to you because
Okay.
There's an orphan in both stories with really bad uncles and aunts.
Yeah.
And then, they go through down the whole line and really kind of a parallel, but that's okay. I mean, he ripped it off of the Hidden Fortress from the Japanese producer.
I think pretty much everybody rips somebody else off.
Pretty much, yeah. But at least he admits to it. He's like, "Hey, I stole it off the Hidden Fortress," which is a great movie and a great producer. So give us your .com so people can find you on the interwebs. Then,
well, my .com is just my name, which I have right here.
Mm-hmm. Can you give that to us so we can hit because most people consume this on audio.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it's my name, which is RochelleTarfmanPerez.com. So RachelTarfmanPerez.com. No spaces and no underscores and no dashes.
There you go. And people will be able to find it on Amazon. And, of course, there'll be a link on the Chris Voss Show. Yeah, to my earlier reference, just to clarify that, The Hidden Fortress. It was a great movie by the famed Akira Kurosawa, movie director. And if you want, go back and watch that film, and you will see Star Wars based in, I don't know, the 1800s of Japanese culture and stuff.
Nice.
It's extraordinary to watch. Like, you'll see R2-D2, you'll see C-3PO. It will blow your mind. And when George Lucas was growing up, or somewhere in that phase, he watched it and went, I have an idea for that.
And the wheels started turning.
And he literally, when you watch Star Wars and you watch The Hidden Fortress, you will literally see the whole movie play out. It's just basically in 2 different time zones.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
Yeah, I think they even copied the hair buns. I don't know. But no, it's really interesting. And even there's even one of the remasters of Star Wars or something, or I think it's the remasters of The Hidden Fortress. George Lucas comes on and he goes, yeah, I pretty much stole the whole thing. But all the great masters of our Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, all of them grew up watching Akira Kurosawa movies that were post-war. And that was what influenced our great Hollywood. So let's talk about what you do and how you do it. What is your life journey? What got you into wanting to write books?
My life journey has taken many turns. Like you mentioned, I went to school. I got my bachelor's degree in psychology. I got a master's degree in counseling psychology, and then went through the process of attaining my 3,000 hours to become a marriage family therapist, which I did for a while, part-time, kind of difficult to do with kids. But I mean, you're learning, you learn so much there. So, you can relate to what people are coming to you with. Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So, I've got some experience with, family relationships and personal relationships. And I've also been married 20 years. So
there you go. Congratulations.
As of yesterday.
You say that like it could be ending soon. No, you like as of yesterday. But we're celebrating the anniversary, right?
Yes, we celebrated our anniversary yesterday.
There you go.
And we'll continue through the weekend.
It just kind of seemed like you were like as of yesterday.
Yeah,
so
as of yesterday,
sure if
it's
there's anything
totally over. Totally over. Yeah.
Just like taking
20
it day
years,
by
cut 'em
day.
off.
You're like one of those people like, how long you been married? 20 years, 5 days, 3 hours, 10 seconds, and counting.
And
like,
36 nanoseconds. Yeah.
You got the prison scars on the wall. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no.
Did
you see my mugshot? Oh gosh.
Did we pull that up in research? Anyway.
No, that's classified information, Chris. Sorry.
There you go. Mm-hmm. It's been hidden. Anyway, hidden by a judge, which is pretty much everything in my past.
Nice. We'll have to talk more later.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll have to talk more later, you and I.
20 years and 4 kids. I mean, that's quite
20
a few.
years, 4 kids. So
no one does that hardly anymore, do they? I mean, that's really tough.
Yeah. I mean, some people can, some people can't. I don't know. I just kind of did it and didn't think too much about it and just bumped and bruised and struggled through it. But, it's fun. I've got a 19-year-old son, a 16-year-old son, a 13-year-old daughter, and a 5-year-old daughter.
I think it's great you let them live that long, especially in teenage time. I think that's awesome. I think that's the great thing. My mom spent most of my childhood. She was a great mom, but every now and then we piss her off, and sometimes we were just bored kids, and we were alpha kids, really. And sometimes she'd be looking at us, and she'd say, "I brought you into this world. I'll take you out of it."
Right.
And sometimes we test that theory, and
right. And Chris, there's no refunds.
There's not.
There's
right?
no refunds. There's no exchanges. You get what you get, and like they say, you get what you get. You don't throw a fit.
There you go.
Well, I sent all mine off parenting as well.
I sent all mine off to military school. I'm like, call me when you're 18.
Right.
So
boarding school.
So what made you want to become a writer and get into writing books?
Honestly, I have no idea. I was potty training my youngest child, and we kind of kept coming across the issue of dropping toys into the toilet. Either it was accidentally or it was on purpose as a little mom, look what I can do.
Yeah.
And I just said, this is kind of irritating. But at the same time, I was like, wait a minute. I couldn't possibly be the only parent struggling with this issue, right? There's got to be other parents out there, because every potty training book you see out there is be a potty superhero, be a potty, super dinosaur. It's not a scary thing. You can handle it. You can manage it. Mm-hmm. You're not going to fall in and get flushed down. It's the whole confidence building thing, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, wow, this has got to be a different take on it that hopefully people will appreciate and enjoy. And so 3 Ps for potty, let me see if I can get it without a glare, came into be, where I created this cartoon character, Gia, with the purple hair. Mm-hmm. And she's just having this discussion with her mom. Mom's trying to tell her what does and doesn't go into the potty. And I came up with the 3 Ps idea to make it a little mysterious. Oh. Like, well, what is the 3 Ps? What are the 3 Ps anyway, So as she's going through the story, she's talking about, well, what can go into the potty? Can, food go into the potty? Can this go into the potty? And kind of getting mom a little frustrated. But then, at the end, we have a little funny thing between the two of them. And she says, okay,
There you go.
I understand now.
And this is the way kids learn. They need instruction. That's why they, I read a long time ago, the reason they watch those Disney movies like over and over again is because that's how they master stuff, right? How they, they have to say, they're like us. They need a little bit of repetition to kind of go, oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah. It's like the third time you watch Star Wars, you start to kind of get it. You're like, oh, I see what's going on here with this whole Force thing.
Yeah,
and then you're like, what's with this prequel thing going on?
Right.
I kind of felt ripped off by the prequel, post-call, or whatever it's called thing, because I was like, wait, I feel like how come I didn't get the good stuff, the first movie first? Like, what the hell's going on there?
I know.
Star Wars has
everybody talks about the trilogy, and my mind, the trilogy is Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. That's the trilogy.
First is better.
First I was is like, better, exactly.
But
the original, the OG.
Yeah. The first thing, of course, Han Solo. Come on,
exactly.
There you go. In fact, he was just looking all good, and people were celebrating. Man, he's like still doing Indiana Jones movies. I think he's got a 5 more deal. It's going to be called Indiana Zombie and the. Anyway, just kidding.
Geriatric Indiana Jones.
I think he's there now. But thank God for CGI. So you wrote this book, I Love Mom. And
Yes.
who doesn't? Because mom's usually the only one who's going to love you in life, no matter just about whatever you do. Although I don't know, my mom used to get. I think there's pictures of us running around with the little potty training toilet on our heads. And that was probably the one time she didn't. So, what prompted you to want to write this book, I Love Mom?
Okay, well, the I Love Mom was an idea that I had. I said, moms are special, and a lot of moms don't get the appreciation that they deserve. We don't get the appreciation we deserve all the time, especially if we're a stay-at-home mom, which is what I've been for a long time. We don't get a paycheck, we don't get bonuses, we don't get vacation, sick time, whatever happens, we're there.
Yeah.
And so I just thought it would be really neat to have a book filled with quotes from kids. And if I could get kids from all over the world to talk about what they love about their moms, I just thought that would be something really special, something tender, something that could be appreciated by anybody, And so, the mom book has basically it's hard to get that. So there's an image. There's an image. And then there's the quote.
So it's all sorts of kids who show appreciation for mom.
So all of those were stock photos that I used to find the stock photo that basically matched up with the quotes somehow. There was something in the quote that's, mom's braid, mom does my braids. I love how she does my hair. And so then I would find an image of mom and a little girl, young girl, or close to the age of the child giving us the quote, having her hair done by mom, so that it really just brings it to life.
There you go.
It just makes it more special.
Yeah, moms love that sort of stuff. I always get my mom a really good card, and she loves those pop-up cards. So they're a little bit more expensive, but they
fun.
Pop up, and she'll let it sit out for a month or two. And of course, I'm her favorite child, so I have to, make sure we always
oldest equals best.
Of course, the first child is the most important. We're the ones who get the crap beaten out of us growing up, and the last one's always like, "I murdered somebody." Mom's like, "Shut up, just whatever, man, just fine. I love you." And the first child is you're like, "I got an A-," and it's like the beatings. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, no, that's not good enough.
It's hard being the first child, man. You are the pioneer of their new parenting. And so you just grow up scarred and beaten, and I think they get scarred and beaten, and then by the third or fourth, or the fourth child's just doing whatever the hell he wants. He's got piles of bodies in his room, and steals everything and rips off. He's got a couple cars parked out front. He stole it 4 years old and shit. And mom's just like, yeah, whatever, man. He's the baby, whatever. Yep. Anyway, you can tell I have some issues with that, can't you? You're a family therapist.
Yes, let's talk, Chris. Let's talk.
There's a lot of talking and hours of therapy. So this is a great book. It's a book that you can give to your mom, that people can use as gifts. We just passed Mother's Day, but there's always Christmas. You should give your mom gifts all the time, because she puts up with you.
Absolutely.
And moms are special too. I mean, the one thing you got to remember is they're not around for a long time, as we are usually.
No, it's true.
They're usually ahead of you on that whole life curve thing. And
generally speaking, yes.
They should be ahead of you on the life curve, because if they're not, you might want to check your adoption papers.
Right. Exactly.
How come my mom's younger than me? This is weird.
I know.
I think there's this joke about, I don't know, Robert De Niro's dating or something. So this is important. Anything more you want to tell us about the I Love Mom book?
Well, it spans many, many countries. So there's quotes from children from South Africa, from the United Kingdom, from Croatia, from here in the United States, from Thailand, where else? Australia. There's quotes from a lot of different places, and Spain, to name just a few. Yeah. So you get an idea that, moms pretty much everywhere are loved the same. Yeah. We all love our moms the same. We all appreciate things about our moms the same. And it's just something very special. There's some kids that use different terms to, if maybe it's not mom or mommy, maybe it's mum or mummy or, mama. I don't even know. There was a lot of different names. So it was really kind of neat to go through the experience.
And that's kind of great. So it's like an international book where anybody can
Yes.
do it and give it to their mom, and there's pictures in there if you can't,
Yes.
if there's, lost in language. But no, I mean, mothers always need to be loved and appreciated. I know they have a hard time in the teenage years because everyone has a hard time in the teenage years. And
Yep.
then the kids kind of go off and leave the nest, and they kind of forget about mom because they're trying to figure out their world. And then usually they eventually come back and they go, "Hey, mom, I've been out in the world, and I realize how hard it is to pull off what you pulled off there, and thanks for putting me up with me, and yada yada yada."
Yeah, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah. And if you don't do that, well, then shame on you. Go do it and
Exactly.
order up the book. Yeah, I mean, the worst thing you do is not appreciate your mom until she's gone, and then you're like, then you're really gonna miss your mom. Because
Then you have regrets.
yeah,
You don't want to have regrets. You want to always appreciate your mom.
I always want to appreciate your mom. Your mom is one of the few people in the world who are going to unconditionally love you. Well, that's not true. Women and children and frogs and pets get unconditional love, but men don't. So if you're a man, realize that you're loved by your condition, your resources, and what you bring to the world. You have to make something yourself to be loved in this world. But your mom is the one person who's going to love you no matter what. I mean, yeah, I've seen guys that they do, really bad things in the world, and their mom still loves them. And you're like,
Yeah.
you still love that guy?
Right.
And, I don't know. There's a connection.
Like,
My mom,
boy.
yeah, my mom still has all the letters of all the stuff she used to write to me and sing to me when she was carrying me in the womb.
Nice.
It took them about 3 years to have me. Evidently, there was
Wow.
a problem with some issues there with with my dad's stuff
Fertility.
and being able to, yeah. So they had to. There was a lot of practicing. And I think it was tight underwear or something. It had something to do with sperm, but I'll just say it on the show. But they eventually figured it out, and they had
Obviously,
me
you're
after
here.
3 years. Yeah, I did. In fact, they almost lost me. They woke up one day and there was the bed was red, and they thought they lost me, and so I was kind of a miracle baby. 9 months. We were talking before the show. 9 months, a little over 9 months. I think it was like 9.5, almost 10 months.
And
I came
10
out
pounds.
10.9 pounds.
Good
And
God.
my mother never lets me forget it, and my dad hated me ever since. There's the joke. So let's fall back to the Gia series again.
Okay.
You've got 3 different books there. There's
Yes.
3 P's for potty, which I probably need because I'm still putting stuff in the toilet.
Oh, no.
Yep. I don't know. Every now and then I throw a phone in there just for fun. Let people, I guess, do that nowadays. Drop their phones in there. Food is fun.
Yes.
Which is clearly a book that I engaged in most of my life. And then you got another book called Are We Friends?
Yes,
which
I do.
which is pretty much, I don't have a joke for that. So tell us about the 3 different books. Let's kind of roll through them. We touched on a little bit about the 3 P's for potty.
Right. We talked about 3 P's for potty. The Food is Fun book is a rhyming book. So it's a little short. It's short and sweet, and it just talks about the foods that Gia likes. So there's pictures of, let me get a picture of that. So there's like pretzels and oranges and pizza, ice cream, bananas. So it just kind of talks about different meals and snacks and things that she likes to eat. Not everything in the book is healthy. It was supposed to sort of go in that direction, and then when I started rhyming words, it just didn't work out very well. So
it's hard to rhyme lettuce.
There's a lot of fruit in there, though, so don't worry.
There you go. Fruit's good for you if you eat like natural food and you keep it thing because it's good sugar. It's actually one of the cheats I use because I'm veganese. There's no slice for the way I eat, I suppose.
Okay.
And I tried to claim I was vegan once, then I got yelled at by 150 different variations of veganism.
Oh no!
But I intermittent fast. I have great salads every day. I buy my stuff from a local farm. But I mix in some dairy and meat every now and then. So you gotta. I just call it veganese.
Yeah,
but I try
it's your own version.
Yeah, it's my own version. I'll do what I want, people.
Right?
But I try and eat healthy. But a lot of people don't realize. I mean, if you want you get the cravings for some sugar, don't go for that high fructose corn syrup crap.
No.
Have some strawberries. Have some raspberries or some apples or something like that. So that's good.
And strawberries are super high in vitamin C, so even more so than oranges. So you've got a lot of choices in the fruit category.
What was the idea for this? What is
What's
this
that?
supposed to do? What sort of conversations is it supposed to spark between mother, father, child, et cetera, et cetera?
There's a lot of picky eaters out there in the world.
Ah,
And so I think this is just a really good book to get children talking about food and
mhm.
trying new things.
There you go.
My 5-year-old loves these books, so I read them to her all the time.
Mhm. This is a great way to get them to eat their peas.
I actually didn't mention peas in there, but yeah, it's just a conversation opener. It's, oh,
Yeah.
well, look, Gia likes ice cream, but she also loves bananas and she
Ah,
also loves pears and avocados,
there you
so
go.
it's just a way to talk about food and have it be a fun subject.
Yeah, because I remember my buddies who had kids. My one friend, he had twins, and like one had one sort of food objection to certain foods, and the other one
Yep.
had different objections to certain foods. And I'm
Yep.
like, they're twins. Can't they get this together? Isn't that the whole
No.
point of them? They
Oh,
look the same. They
no.
should be the same.
Nope.
And I got a
That's
whole
not how twins work.
we got a whole stand-up bit for twins and moms, evidently.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, trying to get foods to eat, but yeah, helping them understand that, like I used to look at my niece and nephew, and we take them to McDonald's. They had like, I don't want any pickles, and then the other one would be like, I don't want any mustard and ketchup, and then like take off the lettuce and the pickles, and like by the time they get done, you're like, hey man, you just have a patty and a bun.
Yep.
Like you've taken all the life out of
This burger.
a burger. Like, what are you doing? They're like, I like it that way. And finally, you're like, I don't know. You must have dropped that kid when he was young or something happened. Or
Seriously.
check and make sure the DNA matches yours.
Right.
For some of my family, I've looked at their DNA and I'm like, yeah, that's I grew up with you. Yeah, that probably is your kid. Not sure what that means.
Just made sure that in my house, food choices were not necessarily an option. Kids had to eat their salad.
There you go.
They had to eat their vegetables. That was not an option. Vegetables are not optional in this house. So that's the way it's been.
Clean your plate or else. That's how my mom ruled.
You want something else nice? You want a treat? Vegetables got to go down first.
Yeah. Plus, my mom cooked everything. This is back in the day when people actually used to sit down and eat at a table and stuff. I don't know if you do that at your house.
We do that every day.
That's really good. That's actually healthy for people. We just had a neuroscientist on a couple days ago. We're going to have to reproduce the episode because his audio was bad. He had a bad mic.
Oh no!
And we couldn't fix it in post. That's why we send a writer out saying get a good mic before you come on the show. And but it was a great show otherwise. And he talked about how neurologically we need to see each other and how the three-dimensional aspect of seeing each other and touching each other and being around each other is really important. And that's why breaking bread and eating together has always been a thing. So it's great you guys do that. We can guilt and shame now. Yeah, we can guilt and there's actually like that too. And there's a neurological thing that we get. There's a thing that we use by helping read each other's body language and understand each other. It develops the brain. And one of the problems we're having isn't so much social media, but it's the two-dimensional aspect of these phones and these screens.
Yeah.
And so because of them, it damages us, and it even, we don't develop neurologically, and it can lead to diseases like Alzheimer's and other things. So it was a great discussion. But yeah, sitting down.
I never really thought about it that way.
And it's a neurological thing. This is science, and it explains why we're having so much trouble. I see these families now. I go out to eat, and like everyone's looking at the screen. 2 kids and 2 parents, and no one's talking to each other. And I'm like,
it's awful.
What the hell's going on
really
here?
Awful.
Like you could have stayed home for this.
We're creating seriously a generation of zombies. It's horrible.
Well, if you've been on TikTok, you've seen why, or seen how that turned out. No, I'm just kidding, Gen Z. We love our Gen Z. You're our future.
I actually am on TikTok to promote my books.
Are you? Awesome.
Yeah, I am.
What's you want to plug out the handle?
It's at Rochelle_children's author.
There you go. Let's move on to the third book. Let's get a plug in for that. Are We Friends?
Are We Friends? Yes.
Yeah, tell us about
young children don't necessarily have those kind of skills, sharing and being nice and helping. All of those things have to be taught. Those are not always innate abilities for everybody, So in this book, Gia meets 2 kids that she sees from next door, and they start a conversation and they have toys and they start talking about it. But they're not quite sure how to navigate this whole situation. So we kind of go through different things throughout the book about sharing toys and sharing food and sharing clothing. You know, it goes through different aspects of what to do as a friend and how to be a good friend.
There you go. And this is important because you don't want kids to grow up to be bullies. I'd be
No.
really ashamed if I was a parent who kids grow up to be bullies.
Right.
Because I did not like bullies as I was growing up, clearly.
No.
Like they punched a couple. And that's how we ended the bullying. But I don't recommend violence for children in any way, and we shouldn't have to resort to that. No, sometimes it's appropriate if they're bullies. But I don't think you can even get away with what we used to get away with back in the day with school fights.
No.
I mean, yeah.
No.
So yeah, this is good. We train kids early to be kind to each other.
Exactly.
What a concept. Kindness, friendship, being nice.
Yeah, and there's a lot of books about kindness. You know, I've seen a lot of books on Amazon about kindness. I just thought that this would be a good way to show younger children how to be friends and put young children, like cartoon characters, engaging in those scenarios and how do they act and what do they do. And so, you know, the facial expressions on the cartoon characters can show, okay, well, they're upset now. Well, how do they figure this out?
You know what's funny is I just had an epiphany. We always talk on the show about how, you know, books and learning and stories, whether it's, you know, TV, movies, books that we consume, the stories are our owner's manual to life. And that's how we learn.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't know about you, but I didn't get mine in the mail. I've been done when I was a kid. Maybe my parents
No, I didn't either.
There's no owner's manual. And this is how we learn. And it just made me realize that this is also how children learn. And this is where it starts. We watch others and we learn from their behavior as to maybe how to act and good and stuff. So you talk about what does it mean to be a good friend? Why do we need to share? Why is it important to be supportive and help others?
Yes.
And so it helps them through their feelings and thoughts about how to be a good friend.
Right. Because a parent can read this book with their child, and then when Gia or one of the other characters gets upset, you can talk to your child about it. Okay, well, Gia's upset now. How does she handle this? How does she get to a place where she's not upset anymore? You know, and talk about feelings, because feelings is something we don't like to talk about much in our society.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially with our boys.
Yeah. Well, you know, we have the stoicism problem with how we process logic and reasoning. But I mean, some boys
it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's, you know, we do that from a tribal thing. It's kind of we're a weird group of people, but I mean, that's how we got here.
But it also starts at home. You know, it starts at home. It's very important to teach your children how to be kind to others. And, you know, I don't know, for some reason, I just always had that when I was a kid. I just always had that. I was always attracted to people who were different. I didn't have any issues being friends with people of other races or religions. And unfortunately, not all families live that same way by that mantra, you know?
And, you know, we had Eddie Glaude Jr. on the show years ago. I don't know if you know who he is. He wrote a book on James Baldwin. And, you know, the thing about James Baldwin's quotes from the 50s, 60s, and 40s is you could take just about whatever he said about race and different things, and you can like just pick them up and glue them onto today's problems in society. Wow. And I was talking to Eddie, and we were talking about, you know, different things that people could do. And I'm like, you know, you really have to get the source of the bad parenting that's going on that creates these monsters, because a lot of these monster kids are taught racism at home. They're taught issues at home. They're taught hate at home. You know, it all begins in the home, and it's the parents.
Exactly.
So somehow we need to get at these kids earlier to try and teach them tolerance and understanding of human beings and empathy. Because, you know, I mean, like we talked about this show with some other family counselors that we've had on. You know, I mean, most of the bullies that I encountered in school were raised by bullies. They had horrible home lives, mean parents that usually beat them and stuff, and then they brought it to school and passed it along. And so, you know, somehow we need to, I don't know, raise better people, raise better parents, and maybe this starts at the fountain of the source, as our opinion. So
exactly.
Yeah.
We don't want more school shootings. We don't want more violence in the world. We don't want these things to continue. So it's better to learn how to be friends.
Yeah, early on.
early on. Exactly.
I've even got some of my friends that aren't good friends that I need to mail this book to learn how to be better friends, because there's a little bit of loyalty problems and trust going on. But
there we go.
They're people.
I love it. I love it.
We try and love them if we're not throwing them down the stairs. Don't do that, people. That's a joke. Anything more you want to tease out about the Gia series? And it's pretty much targeted towards preschool, toddler preschool.
Toddler preschool, yeah. This particular series is geared towards children like 2 to like 6 years old, maybe. Just because they're funny books. There's some humor, and there's issues that are real life issues for a lot of these kids. So kindergarten, first grade is when kids start to read, and maybe they move towards the chapter books or the, Magic Treehouse type of things. But these books still have life lessons. And that's what I think is important are the life lessons, because the fantasy books are great and they're entertaining, but those are only going to help them so much.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to really learn life lessons from Dr. Seuss. Maybe you are. I don't know. They're green
Maybe
eggs.
If you're a wuzzle word.
I mean, technically, you shouldn't eat green eggs and ham. So if you come across that, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, you should walk the other way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Unless it's food coloring, but that's another thing. But yeah, I mean, I need some adults that probably know the 3 Ps for potty. So there you go.
Right.
Anything more you want to plug out on all the books you've written in the series? Anything new you're working on upcoming?
We're still working on marketing for my I Love Mom books. So I would love to put together an I Love Dad, because dads also need appreciation as well.
There you go.
And I'm hoping for another Gia book in the series. So look for that in the future.
I'd love to see that. Dads are really important. Fathers are really important.
Yes.
There's
a lot of work.
A lot of the media now really kicks dads around. Like the father's always the kind of the dummy and
the scapegoat.
And, he's always the dumb one. He's always the idiot. He was always lazy.
And that's horrible. They shouldn't portray dads like that in sitcoms. It's really bad.
And I think it bleeds into our thing. I grew up watching, what was it? The Leave It to Beaver show. And, that was a whole different era of fathers and mothers. But, I mean, there was the dad. The dad was a smart one. And then I remember watching, what was it? What was that show in the 90s with, I don't remember. But the dad.
Remember Married with Children?
Yeah, it was Married with Children, Dad.
Remember that one?
Yeah, you're like, how do we go from Leave It to Beaver to this?
Yeah,
and then,
exactly.
The Cosby Show tried to resurrect that, but that thing whole went in the toilet. That whole bit.
Unfortunately, we don't want to talk about him.
We don't want to get into that, but I mean, at least it tried to present fathers, at least on TV, as
in a better light.
In a better light. But I think we need more of that because some of the stuff I see nowadays. But yeah, I'd love to see that. Anything more you want to tease out on the books before we go?
No, I just hope that everyone that's listening will be willing to check out these books. They're, like I said, the Gia Toddler series is great for the young kids, helps them out, give you something to laugh and learn together. And then I Love Mom book is just something to cherish, something to look at for a long time. Make you smile, make you cry, make you laugh. Just something beautiful to hold on to.
Pick one up for your mom today. Can you give it to your grandma too? I mean, does that technically work?
Absolutely. I mean, grandmas are moms too, and it can bring grandma back to, times that are in the past.
Yeah. Plus, it wasn't for your grandma, your mom wouldn't be here, and you wouldn't be here. So, you got to pay homage to the lineage.
If everything works out, there might be an I Love Grandma and I Love Grandpa book too. So
that would be a good one too, because I really love my one grandma.
Oh.
The other one, not so much, but she had issues. But, we'll let her slide. I wouldn't send her the book. But, I mean, hey, she needs some counseling. And maybe quit drinking, that too. But, people are people. They do the best they can with what they have. Anyway, Thank you very much for coming on the show, Michelle. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
There you go. And this has been fun too. And hopefully people have fun and enjoy the books. And maybe we can get a whole new preschool audience going.
Absolutely.
With the Voss show. We got to get the future. I'm going to start guilting that, shaming that at the beginning of the show when we do the plugs. I'll be like, get your preschoolers and your toddlers to listen to the Chris Voss show. We're going to breed a whole new generation.
You might just have to tone it down a little bit, though.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Little censorship goes on.
We're going to scar some kids. We don't want to do that. What happened to you? How come you ended up an axe murderer? I listened to the Chris Voss show.
I was in the Chris Voss show. It's all his fault. No.
I'll just live with guilt for the rest of my days in the retirement home. Anyway, guys, Thank you very much. Give us your .com, Rochelle, for coming on the show.
Again, that's www.RACHAELTARFMANPEREZ.com. Sorry, it's so long. It's a long name.
There you
but
go.
Hopefully one to remember.
There you go. So thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
There you go. And thanks, Monis, for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss. See the big LinkedIn group over there, 130,000 people, the big LinkedIn newsletter that just keeps killing it, and TikTok as well. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time. And that should have us.